I was holding a paper cup of sparkling cider when my daughter tapped her spoon against the glass. The room softened around her. Pastel balloons, polite smiles, the hush that comes before a public blessing. She didn't look at me. She lifted her chin toward her mother-in-law and said, clear as a blade, "This is the woman I wish had raised me. She will be the one and only true grandmother to my child." The room applauded. I set the cup down without a sound. No one noticed when I slipped out. They never do when they think you've already been erased. I sat in my car and let the words echo. Not loud, surgical, chosen. I had raised her alone. Night shifts, second chances, every scraped knee and scholarship application. I taught her how to survive. And survival, I learned that night, includes knowing when to leave a room before it collapses on you. We weren't always strangers. When she was 8, she used to wait for me on the steps, backpack on, braids crooked, telling me about her day like it mattered because I mattered. When she married, I paid for the florist she loved and the caterer she couldn't afford. I gave her space when she asked for it and help when she didn't. Trust, I believed, was built by consistency. I didn't see the rot because it arrived dressed as gratitude. The change was gradual. Fewer calls. Missed holidays explained away with tight smiles. Her husband's mother began appearing everywhere I used to be. Front row at recitals, first to know about doctor appointments, the keeper of news that once came to me. I told myself it was normal. New families rearrange gravity. I stayed calm. I stayed kind. Then came the baby shower invitation, addressed to Mom. I thought it meant me. The betrayal didn't sting until it settled, overnight, like a bruise you don't feel until you wake. I replayed moments, the way my daughter corrected me in front of her in-laws, the jokes at my expense that landed too cleanly, the stories retold with me edited out. I hadn't been replaced. I had been revised. I didn't confront her. I didn't cry to anyone who would weaponize my pain. I did what I've always done when something important breaks. I examined the pieces. I pulled files from a drawer I hadn't opened in years, old receipts, emails, the quiet ledger of a life spent helping, tuition deposits, the down payment I'd covered when her credit stalled, the loan I never asked to be repaid. I read the words gift and temporary and we'll fix it later. I made copies. I called a lawyer, not to threaten, but to understand. Boundaries have language. I learned it. I revised my will, updated beneficiaries, established a trust with conditions that rewarded presence and respect, not blood alone. I transferred the property I owned into an LLC. I changed passwords. I stopped underwriting a life that publicly disowned me. I sent no dramatic messages, just one email. Call, precise. Going forward, I'll need formal agreements for financial support. Please confirm. Silence answered. That told me everything. Socially, I went still. I declined invitations. I smiled in photos without standing next to her. I stopped explaining. People noticed the absence before they questioned the cause. Absence is louder than argument. The final move required timing. I waited for the morning after the baby shower. The day after a public declaration feels safe to people who mistake applause for immunity. A courier rang her doorbell. Inside the envelope, copies, a summary, a letter not angry, clean. This documents the support I've provided. As of today, it ends. The trust exists. Its terms are attached. Respect restores access. Disrespect dissolves it. There was no insult, no plea, only consequences, signed and notarized. She called me then, voice shaking, not to apologize, to negotiate. I listened. I always listen. When she paused, I said, "You chose your truth in public. I'm choosing mine in private." I ended the call. Weeks passed. Stories reached me, thin and frantic. Her mother-in-law, so warm in speeches, didn't cover what I had. Couldn't. Wouldn't. Grand gestures don't pay for cribs and emergencies. Reality arrived with a bill. We met once more, in daylight, across a cafe table. She looked older, quieter. I didn't gloat. I explained the trust again. Presence, honesty, repair, not performance. She asked if I'd reconsider. I said I already had. That's why the terms were fair. I don't hate her. Hate is noisy. I chose silence with teeth. Now, when I think of that toast, I don't feel the cut. I feel the steadiness that followed. Justice doesn't always slam doors. Sometimes it closes accounts. Sometimes it teaches people that words spoken to hurt can echo back as policy. I am still a grandmother, not the kind announced with a spoon and a glass, but the kind who knows when to leave a room and how to return on her own terms.